is very energetic term, right? Sound right? Qi. Well, the best translation, I would say, of Qi is vital energy. Vital energy is present in all of the universe. Vital energy, nothing would move without that energy. There is in everything there is Qi. Now, there are so many different...
The animating force, or the life force, I've heard it's called.
Yes, it's the movement. There's a polarity that exists in the universe, and I might as well just give you some understanding. We call this polarity yin and yang, right? Now, we understand that yin is receptive and quiet, but yang is the movement. So that is what Qi is originally, is that it's that movement that comes from the combination of the yin and yang. When they are one, then there is also flow and movement. But they both are important in life. Yin is important for the yang to emerge. It's like the yin is the substance, the yang is the movement. But the Qi gets divided, gets formed into myriad of forms. The Chinese tradition says that originally there was Wu Qi, which is the oneness we call God. Out of that came yin and yang. Out of yin and yang came 10,000 things, meaning the whole universe was created. The movement then creates different forms, and within the human body there is always present the original Qi is always present. We call that Jing rather than Wu Qi. We call that Jing, and that there's also then every organ has their own form of Qi, own quality of Qi. For instance, heart Qi is called Shen, which is really closely connected, according to Chinese tradition, with the spirit. So the various forms of, I would say, functions of Qi, because Qi is always in movement, there's always flow. It's this vital energy, there's never stillness, there's always flow. But the flow, perfect flow, is regulated by the original flow, which gives us a serenity and tranquility and the qualities that we each one of us, we all want to have. When it flows smoothly, then there is perfect balance at that yin and yang, in that movement, or in that vital energy. I don't know if I'm answering it in such a way that you understand, or the person can understand that.
Sure. So basically, what we want is not to promote one manifestation of Qi or energy over the other. It's a balance.
No. Well, what we want to do is that everything works in harmony, supporting the functioning of the other organs, and also acknowledging the original Qi, which is present in all life forms. And when we do work that way, then the work on finding harmony and balance within the body organism is much easier,
Absolutely.
Okay,
we have a...
and we all... Yeah?
Go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is...
Okay.
No, one thought leads to another, but, I would just wanted to add that, and we all know that this notion is something that is healing itself. If we can acknowledge it, then we, as persons, are in charge of our own healing. And that is what I'm doing right now. I'm writing on my website, ahaqi.com, about the principles of Chinese medicine, and how these principles and practices can be utilized by anyone, when there is this understanding of the cooperation and harmony.
Excellent. We have another question from Steve. He says he spent some time in China a while ago and visited a hospital where doctors demonstrated that they could light up a light bulb with their chi, their energy.
Yeah, yes. Well, yeah, I think that can happen, I'm sure. I mean, I think we light bulbs all the time in our consciousness, When we are alive, we are sparkling, right? And the chi can be so powerful when it is used by martial art practitioners and doctors that have trained in martial arts. Then, even thought then can ignite, So, but that's a very interesting story. I appreciate hearing that. But
he also says that when he was there, they spent some time examining his palms as a diagnostic technique. Can you comment on that a little?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Okay, he says that when he was in the Chinese hospital, the doctors were doing their demonstrations, and he says they examined the palms of his hands to do a diagnosis. Can you comment on that a bit?
Oh, yes. Well, I have not had any experience with that, but I think that must have a lot to do with the development of the diagnostic process with intuition. Because intuition must come into play when you are diagnosing a person. It's not just what you see, it's not what you touch, it's not what you hear. It is a subtle process. And when there is focus, whether it is on the palm of a hand or it's in a pulse, when you take the pulse, it's taken in 12 different positions, and it's a very quiet moment when you take a pulse of a person, because not only you get the rhythm of the heart and the other organs that are being pumped blood to, but you also tune into your own intuitive understanding of the overall condition that you are looking at. So the diagnostic process, according in Chinese medicine, is different because we take time. I think that's one thing. This cannot be rushed. So then the practitioner's own intuitive understanding comes into play, and it is almost like by doing that we are actually truly meeting the person. We're meeting the person beyond what he or she has said, or we are moving into kind of a shared experience, and that's the beginning of workmanship. Like working relationship with the person, and out of that can come healing.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately the healing.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, ultimately the healing really is individual person healing himself or herself. That is what true healing is.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What you were describing there sounds a lot like what I've experienced a number of times as a massage therapist. Oftentimes I'll be working with a client, doing whatever sort of body work that they need at that time, and I'll feel drawn to a certain area or to use a certain technique. And very often that will result in the client saying, wow, I'd completely forgotten that I was hurting there. How did you know to go there? And it's just listening to my intuition, that gut feeling that, kind of pulls you in a certain direction. And I think that's really important to pay attention to.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what makes the work really meaningful, because